Love in the Storm. Chapter 1. First meeting by the sea. Maya and Daniel met one summer evening in a small town by the sea. The town was peaceful, with white houses and narrow streets. Maya loved painting, and she often visited this town to paint the beautiful sunsets and the blue sea. Daniel was a musician, traveling from place to place, looking for inspiration for his music. That evening, Maya was sitting on a bench near the beach, sketching the sky as the sun went down. Daniel walked by with his guitar in hand. He noticed Maya's painting and stopped to watch for a moment. She was so focused on her work that she didn't notice him at first. The soft sound of waves hitting the shore made the moment peaceful. "Your painting is beautiful," Daniel said, breaking the silence. Maya looked up, a bit surprised. "Thank you," she replied, smiling shyly. "The sunset here is so lovely. I come here often to paint." Daniel sat down next to her, curious. "I play music," he said, showing her his guitar. "I travel around looking for places like this for inspiration." They talked for hours, sharing stories about their love for art and music. Maya told Daniel how she felt free when she painted, as if she could express all her feelings with colors. Daniel told her how music helped him escape from the world, and how every song he wrote was a piece of his heart. As the sun set and the stars appeared in the sky, they felt an instant connection, like they had known each other for a long time. Chapter 2. Growing Closer. In the days that followed, Maya and Daniel spent a lot of time together. Maya would paint while Daniel played his guitar, the two of them side by the sea. Sometimes, Daniel played melodies inspired by Maya's paintings, and Maya would paint images that matched the sound of his music. It was as if their art had come together, just like their hearts. Daniel admired Maya's passion and how she poured her soul into every painting. Maya was drawn to Daniel's calm and creative energy. They would walk along the beach, talking about their dreams, their fears, and their pasts. It felt like they were the only two people in the world when they were together. But as they grew closer, small differences between them began to show. Maya had a deep fear of being abandoned, a fear that had haunted her since childhood. Her father had left her family when she was young, and she was afraid that one day Daniel might leave her too. She didn't talk about her fears, but they affected how she acted with Daniel. She wanted to spend every moment with him, afraid that if she let him go, he would disappear. Daniel, on the other hand, loved Maya deeply but needed space to create his music. He enjoyed being with her, but he also needed time alone to work on his songs. He didn't understand why Maya always wanted to be so close. He thought that love didn't mean being together all the time, but also giving each other space. At first, they didn't notice these small cracks in their relationship, but soon the cracks began to grow. Chapter 3. The First Conflicts. One day, Maya and Daniel planned to spend the evening together. Maya had been looking forward to it all week. She wanted to take him to her favorite spot by the cliffs and paint while he played music. But when the day came, Daniel canceled their plans. He said he needed to work on a new song and needed time alone. Maya tried to understand, but inside she felt hurt. Why does he need time alone, she thought. Doesn't he want to be with me? That evening, she sat alone by the cliffs, watching the waves crash against the rocks. She felt lonely and confused. She wondered if Daniel was getting tired of her, just like her father had gotten tired of their family. These thoughts made her anxious, but she didn't talk to Daniel about how she felt. Instead, she kept it all inside. The next time they saw each other, Maya couldn't hide her feelings. She was distant, and Daniel noticed. "What's wrong?" he asked, sensing her coldness. "Nothing," Maya replied, but her voice was heavy with emotion. Daniel didn't push her to talk, thinking that she just needed some time. But over the next few weeks, they started arguing more. Small things, like a missed phone call or a change in plans, turned into big fights. Maya wanted to spend more time with Daniel, but Daniel needed space to work on his music. Maya felt like Daniel was pulling away, and Daniel felt like Maya was trying to hold on too tightly. Their love was strong, but the conflicts were becoming harder to ignore. Chapter 4. A Stormy Night. One stormy night, things finally exploded. They were at Daniel's apartment, and Maya brought up the fact that Daniel had canceled their plans again. She tried to stay calm, but the words came out with more emotion than she expected. "Do you even want to spend time with me anymore?" she asked, her voice shaking. Daniel was surprised by her question. He didn't understand why she was so upset. "Of course I do," he replied, confused. "But I also need time to work on my music, you know that." Maya couldn't hold back her feelings any longer. "I feel like you're always pushing me away. I just want to be close to you, but it feels like you don't care." Daniel sighed, feeling frustrated. "It's not that I don't care. I just need space sometimes. That doesn't mean I don't love you." But to Maya, his words felt like rejection. Her deepest fear was coming true. "Do you still love me?" she asked, her eyes full of tears. Daniel didn't know how to respond. He loved her, but he didn't understand why she couldn't give him the space he needed. His silence felt like a confirmation to Maya. She stood up, grabbed her coat, and ran out into the rainy night, tears streaming down her face. Chapter 5. The Silent Days. For the next few weeks, Maya and Daniel didn't speak. Maya spent her days in the studio, painting her sadness in dark, stormy colors. Every brushstroke felt heavy with confusion and pain. No matter what she did, she couldn't stop thinking about Daniel and the fight that tore them apart. She wondered if their love had ended that night. Meanwhile, Daniel was lost in his own world of silence. Music, which had always been his escape, failed him now. Every time he tried to write, memories of Maya consumed his thoughts. He missed her deeply, but he didn't know how to fix the cracks in their relationship. He feared reaching out, unsure if their love could survive everything they had been through. One evening, the silence became unbearable. Daniel couldn't stand being apart any longer. Without knowing what to say, he found himself walking to Maya's studio. His heart raced as he stood at her door, unsure if she would even let him in. When Maya opened the door, their eyes met for the first time in weeks. Neither spoke, the weight of their unspoken feelings heavy in the air. Daniel took a deep breath. "I'm sorry," he whispered, hoping it wasn't too late. Chapter 6. The Reunion. When Daniel walked into Maya's studio, he was struck by the beauty of her paintings. The walls were covered with canvases full of deep blues, blacks, and purples. He could see her emotions in every brushstroke. Maya was sitting at her easel, her back to him, lost in her work. "Maya," Daniel said softly. Maya turned around, surprised to see him there. She put down her paintbrush and stood up, crossing her arms. "What are you doing here?" she asked, her voice guarded. "I miss you," Daniel said, stepping closer. "I've been thinking about you every day." Maya looked away, not sure if she could trust him again. "I don't know if I can do this anymore," she said quietly. "It's too hard." Daniel took her hand. "I'm sorry, Maya. I didn't mean to push you away. I was just scared of losing myself, but in doing that, I lost you." Maya's heart softened, but she still felt uncertain. "I don't want to feel like I'm losing you all the time," she said. "I need to know that you're here with me, not just physically, but emotionally." Daniel nodded. "I understand, and I want to make this work. I love you, Maya. I don't want to lose you." Tears filled Maya's eyes. "I love you too," she whispered. They embraced, both of them feeling the weight of their emotions. They knew their relationship wouldn't be easy, but they were willing to try again. Chapter 7. Building Trust Again. After their reunion, Maya and Daniel made a conscious effort to rebuild their relationship, piece by piece. They spent long evenings together, having deep conversations about their fears, desires, and what they truly needed from each other. Maya finally opened up about her deep-rooted fear of abandonment, something she had carried with her long before they met. It was the reason she sometimes clung too tightly, afraid that if she let go, Daniel might disappear. Daniel, in turn, explained why he needed space to focus on his music. It wasn't that he didn't care. In fact, music was how he processed his emotions. But he admitted that he hadn't done a good job of making her feel included during those times of distance. Together, they realized they needed to find a delicate balance. Maya worked on giving Daniel the breathing room he required, learning to trust that his love for her wouldn't fade in his moments of solitude. Daniel, on the other hand, made a greater effort to spend quality time with Maya, reassuring her that even when he needed space, he was still committed to her and their relationship. It wasn't easy, though. They still argued, and sometimes emotions ran high. But they slowly learned to communicate better. When Maya felt insecure or uncertain, she resisted the urge to retreat into herself, choosing instead to voice her concerns to Daniel. And when Daniel felt overwhelmed, instead of pulling away without explanation, he shared his feelings with her, helping her understand why he sometimes needed to be alone. Their love, though still fragile, grew stronger with time. It was like a delicate flower, one that needed careful nurturing, communication, and patience to continue blossoming. Both Maya and Daniel understood that love wasn't something they could take for granted. It required attention, honesty, and most of all, a willingness to grow together. Chapter 8. A New Beginning. Months passed, and Maya and Daniel found a new rhythm in their relationship. Their once fragile bond had transformed into something more stable, built on trust and understanding. They still faced challenges, but they tackled them together, knowing that communication and patience were key. Maya continued to create her art, and Daniel returned to writing music, each finding fulfillment in their passions while supporting one another. Their love had grown deeper, no longer marked by fear, but by a quiet confidence that they could weather whatever storms came their way. Together,